Toxic shock syndrome, otherwise known as TSS, is an illness caused by bacteria called Staphylococcus aureus or Staph A. This bacteria can be found naturally in our noses, skin, and hair. So what's the big deal? Well, this bacteria is also responsible for causing various infections and diseases in our bodies. But don't freak out. Only 20 to 30% of people have this form of bacteria on their bodies, and not all show symptoms. In TSS, the bacteria can release a toxin that enters through the bloodstream. Then, this toxin can trigger a massive activation of immune responses, which can lead to organ failure and tissue death. So what kind of symptoms does this toxin cause? Symptoms include high fever and lightheadedness, vomiting, and severe muscle aches. Most people often associate TSS with tampon use. Risk of this illness increases as level of absorbency of the tampon increases and with the length of time the tampon is left in. TSS was first described in children in the late 1970s. Future reports identified an association with tampon use by menstruating women. Tampon use increases the risk of TSS as a tampon worn for a prolonged period creates a good environment for Staph A bacterial growth. Studies show that menstrual TSS is more likely in women that use highly absorbent tampons. Higher absorbency tampons may break blood vessels within the vagina, which may allow for TSS toxins to leak into the bloodstream. The black dots are the toxins in this image, and you could see them entering the bloodstream. However, other feminine hygiene products like pads, Diva Cup, diaphragm, or sponges, which are in place for more than 8 hours, also pose the same risk. Any menstruation collecting material that is held inside or near the vagina for a prolonged period increases an individual's risk for acquiring TSS. The incidence of menstrual toxic shock syndrome declined sharply in the 90s, as it is thought to be due to the withdrawal of highly absorbent tampons from the market. The incidence of both menstrual and non-menstrual cases has remained stable over the last decade at about 0.3 to 0.5 cases per 100,000 population. Lauren Wasser, a 24-year-old model, was using Kotex tampons when flu-like symptoms escalated to what she learned was toxic shock syndrome in 2012. Her fever was 42 degrees Celsius, her internal organs were shutting down, and she had suffered a massive heart attack. Her infection turned into gangrene, or the local decomposition of her body tissue, and she had to have her right leg amputated. Outcomes of TSS vary in severity. If caught early, the infection can be treated with antibiotics, fluids, and sometimes dialysis, often resulting in full recovery. However, if the illness is not treated in time, it can progress to organ failure and death. To minimize risks associated with feminine hygiene use and TSS, always remember to wash your hands before and after insertion. Frequently change feminine hygiene products, 8 hours max. Always use the lowest absorbency necessary. And read the label of the feminine hygiene products before you use them. So listen up. If you start getting TSS symptoms while on your period, take a visit to your nearest urgent care center or walk-in clinic. Though chances of getting TSS are low, it's always best to be safe.
Created using Powtoon.